And welcome to this investor presentation on OncoSil Medical. I'm Nigel Lange. I am the CEO and Managing Director of the company. Appreciate you being here and listening to this presentation. So what is OncoSil all about? OncoSil has a device that delivers targeted radiotherapy for pancreatic cancer. The OncoSil device is now quickly penetrating its addressable markets. So we are now in the process of commercializing the OncoSil device as an active implantable brachytherapy delivering targeted radiation of phosphorus-32 to pancreatic tumors. We're available for sale now in over 34 countries via the CE mark. Our commercial ramp-up is expected in fiscal year 2026 and beyond. We are now in the process of increasing market access via label expansion, combining a new method of delivery, and adding the addition of a more commonly used chemotherapy known as FOLFIRINOX. So right now, we have the ability to accelerate market penetration with a much shorter sales cycle and an increase in the addressable hospital sites within the EU and the UK. We believe we've also got a platform technology that can be leveraged into other cancers with solid tumors such as bile duct cancer, liver cancer, and potentially also glioblastoma. So what are the key commercialization metrics? So we have an indicative US dollar sales price of approximately $24,000 per device. The gross margin currently rests at 50%, but once we are able to supply from our own manufacturing facility, that will certainly increase to 65% in calendar year 2026, with our target of greater than 75% expected at scale. So there are cost out initiatives driving lower fixed cost base. It's an overall 20% reduction in OPEX costs. And we have a negligible requirement for additional CapEx in the near term. We're certainly well capitalized after a recently completed successful equity raise. One of the important things to consider here is that pancreatic cancer prognosis really has remained unchanged for about 40 years. And as you can see from this slide, there have been significant improvements to the likes of prostate, breast, bowel cancer, lung cancer. And if you look at the bottom of this slide, you can see that pancreatic cancer has had very little movement in the past nearly 4 decades. So what does all that mean? It means that survival rates for patients with pancreatic cancer is very poor indeed. Median overall survival of about 8.5 months. Less than 12% of these patients actually reach 5-year survival. So it has a lower survival rate than any other cancer. The number of cancer cases and deaths both are estimated to increase by 40% before 2035. So what does all that mean? It means that we urgently need new therapeutic options. So what does the OncoSil device look like, and what does it actually do? So the OncoSil device has the ability to increase resection rates, and resection, as we know, in any cancer, if you can have it surgically removed, that's still considered the gold standard. We have the ability to downstage an increasing number of patients to resection. We also have the ability to improve overall survival benefits and certainly enhance patient quality of life. So the device is intended for the treatment of locally advanced pancreatic cancer. It is delivered via endoscopic ultrasound guidance with a direct intratumoral injection. It is a single-use product, so it's used to treat one patient only. 98% of all the radiation which is P32, as I mentioned earlier, or phosphorus 32, is delivered within 81 days of the injection, killing malignant cancer cells with no damage to surrounding tissue, because we're delivering this from an internal perspective. It's not like an external beam radiation machine that may have to go through surrounding organs and can create concurrent damage to organs. So we're delivering radiation from the inside. So this requires only one supervised procedure, given the simplicity and familiarity with standard everyday biopsy procedures. So with that, we are also now happy to inform you that we've completed a study which was known as the OncoSil study, and that is a study that allowed us to deliver the treatment percutaneously. We believe that this is going to significantly change the way we address the market and accelerate market penetration. So the study recruitment was completed this month. The top line readout will be in Q3 of 2025, and we're targeting Q4 calendar year 2025 to make this commercially available to interventional radiology. What are the recent achievements of the company? So again, mention of the OncoSil trial. This is a landmark trial for novel percutaneous delivery with intent to drive market access and adoption. That was completed earlier this month. We are now one patient away from completing the TRIP FFX study, and TRIP is a study that will serve to add FOLFIRINOX to the label. We have current engagement with US FDA on distal cholangiocarcinoma. And as some of you may be aware, the German Federal Joint Committee, or GBA as they're known, has approved a fully funded coverage with evidence development phase 3 trial. We've also engaged in a second manufacturing facility in Sydney, Australia. That fit out is complete and just undergoing current validation. So we've also received UKCA certificate from BSI in conjunction to MDR approval received from BSI for the EU. We've also got 120 German hospitals that have successfully applied for NUB status, and what this enables the hospitals to do is to negotiate for, it gives them the ability to negotiate reimbursement from the statutory health funds within Germany itself. So what are the upcoming milestones? So significant commercial catalysts over the next 18 months are TGA submission, expanding into new hospitals and existing geographies. That is in the certainly in the first half of that occurred in the first half of 2025. In the second half of 2025, we've seen the completion of the OncoSil study. We will seek to provide expanded label approval to include percutaneous delivery, and then of course also the completion of the TRIP FFX study, which is rather imminent, as I mentioned earlier. The TGA anticipated approval. We have an IDE filing with FDA for locally advanced pancreatic cancer sometime toward the latter half of this year. And we anticipate also having the first commercial supply from the Sydney, Australia facility. And we also look forward to perhaps the finalization of the clinical trial design that is sponsored by the GBA. That said, heading into 2026, we will see label expansion with the addition of FOLFIRINOX chemotherapy. That's simply because we have to follow the last patient in the trial for 7 months. So that is going to occur in the first half of calendar year 2026. We also look forward to the commencement of the GBA study in the latter half of excuse me, the first half of calendar year 2026, and we will also seek to launch in GCC markets, as well as have filings in Argentina, Brazil, and South Korea. In the second half of 2026, we will see launch of the OncoSil technology in Southeast Asian countries, and we are hopeful that we will see an FDA approval for distal cholangiocarcinoma. So continued focus on the commercial model. We've got a compelling cost benefit proposition with no direct competition. There are attractive unit economics, as I mentioned before, about 24,000 US, which translates somewhere into 22,000 euros. And we are targeting a gross margin of greater than 75% once we are at scale with the new production facility. There is no direct competition. We've been granted breakthrough designation status in the United States, European Union, and the United Kingdom. We are the only commercially available or in development targeted radiotherapy for locally advanced pancreatic cancer. It's really a capital-light operating model. There's a concentrated industry structure with high volumes undertaken at centers of excellence. So we have a high return on capital with relatively small sales force requirements. And there is commercial scale manufacturing capability with end-to-end manufacturing capabilities and logistics already in place, and that enables us to meet commercial quantities. So there are multiple high-value initiatives to broaden market access and accelerate commercialization. So again, that is the additional of the ability to administer the treatment percutaneously as a result of the recently completed OncoSil study. And there's the label expansion of additional chemotherapy, that being the TRIP study, and enabling us to add FOLFIRINOX to the label, and our ability to expand now into new markets such as Argentina, Brazil, Chile, France, Southeast Asia, South Korea, and Switzerland. And I thank you very much.